minimum for a passing grade for prayer is that you are thinking of Allah Ta'ala for the blink of an eye. Now, this does not mean for all of you, okay, I got my blink anyway, yeah, so, right. No, but the point is that that's your minimum from a fiqh perspective of a passing grade. Obviously, the ideal is complete, such concentration that the world around you doesn't even exist anymore. That's the level you want to get to. But the minimum D- passing grade is that.
D- is the pass.
D- is not enough. C is passing.
C is passing?
C is passing.
Really? Wait, then does that mean you didn't pass my class? Oh, oh yeah. Yeah.
See you again next year.
Oh, that means
Wait,
all these people I just gave
passing,
D's to,
isn't
no
it?
joke.
No.
Means them
I don't
come back.
understand why.
D is
what are
passing.
D's for then?
D is not passing.
D
He's not passing.
passing.
Oh,
passing.
because you know what's going on here.
What? C is you pass.
CPSA has higher standards. Normal
No,
educational
but C
institutions.
is like your average, mediocre, embarrassment. Okay.
D's pass.
Yeah,
D
D
is
like
passing, though.
you're like less than average, but you're
No,
still
but like
native.
in college, you can't pass something with a D.
No, you can't.
You can. You get credit
No.
for it. Of course you do.
Speaking as a teacher,
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you can.
At our school, you don't get credit if you get a D.
And they should just call it an F.
Sorry.
They should just get rid of the D. C to F.
Yeah, what's the point of
Like
having
if you
that?
need like a prereq for something, and then you got like that prereq was a D, it doesn't count.
Okay.
That's probably as
Okay.
Okay,
Point
anyway.
is still of the blink of an eye is your pass, right?
Wait, C minus.
And apparently some educational systems it's a C. Yeah.
Wait, okay, so I heard this thing where like
It's
people
probably false.
probably, but people salal would be like rolled up and like thrown at their face when you did judgment if it wasn't like accepted. Like even if you prayed, but it wasn't.
So there's this lecture from Dr. Israr. It's called Nijat Kirah, which is like the way to salvation or something. And it begins exactly like this. If you guys have ever heard Dr. Israr speak, he has this big voice. He says, "All of your prayers, all of your fasting will be thrown in your face."
In Urdu?
I don't remember if it was in English or Urdu. I remember it in English.
I know, it's Urdu, okay.
Yeah. Shakal me peg diggy. So,
Scary. Why is that so like shuckle? I don't know that word.
yeah.
It's so like heavy.
Yeah, mupe. Yeah. So I don't know if that's a hadith or not, but I've definitely heard it. Yeah, I guess it's not funny at all.
That's so scary.
Especially because we're talking about punishment. But the basic point is that, all right, so for minimum, it's obedience. But the level you want to get to is to do these things motivated by love. Love for Allah Ta'ala, love for the Prophet, peace be upon him. This is where love for the Prophet, peace be upon him, becomes very, very important, because this is a pathway on understanding how to love Allah Ta'ala, right? If you cannot love a human being, you're not going to be able to love Allah Ta'ala. So if you can't love the Prophet, peace be upon him, you're not going to be able to love Allah Ta'ala. So the love of the Prophet almost becomes like a conduit to understand how to love Allah Ta'ala, because he is the creation or the Prophet of, or the beloved of Allah Ta'ala.
So like going back to another question.
Which one?
Like
Thrown in your face.
Like I don't know. Like I mean, obviously you're praying because you're supposed to, and then like you love Allah, but then there's no concentration.
Okay, then you're not praying out of love for Allah.
No, I mean like. You stand and you're like, okay, I'm doing this for Allah, I love Allah, and then like somewhere in there you just lose concentration.
Okay.
Then should you pray again?
No. But the point being that you'll definitely understand love, inshallah, when you have a child. Right? Hopefully when you have a spouse, but maybe not. When you have a child, you'll definitely love.
Don't offer that advice again.
What did I say?
I don't
Because what I'm
We'll
saying is
talk
that
later.
the motivation of love is something completely different.
No, I mean, no, but I mean, like I think about that a lot. Like it being thrown in your face, and I'll be like, okay, my prayer was not that good. I should pray again. I'll
Yeah,
pray
that
again.
I would say is wrong. That is creating an unhealthy behavior. I might have mentioned this student of mine who does that, and so he winds up doing wudu 4 times. He winds up praying Asr 4 times. You know,
4 times?
Yeah, maybe more sometimes. Like he's come up to me at times saying, "Okay, tell me I don't have to pray again." Okay. That I think it even creates OCD behavior.
I remember when Mufti Kamani was giving some lecture on, I don't remember what the lecture was on, but He was talking about when he was doing his training, that there were some, like his teacher would tell him that in every part of the salah, you have to have thought about Allah once, you know.
Wow.
And he said that when he didn't, when you weren't doing that, he would ask him to pray again, you know, because you're to have the perfect prayer. You know?
I think that would probably be more in the case of training,
Oh, I see. Okay.
right?
Okay.
But in terms of just the minimum passing grade,
Got it, yeah.
yeah.
You know what's
Um,
interesting?
Yeah.
I heard that that every part of your prayer should be like the same length. Like
I don't know about should, but we do have narrations of the Prophet, peace be upon him, where they're all the same length.
yeah, so like the sitting between each like sujood should be like the same length as like when you're reciting a surah.
I don't know if that's the
Right?
norm, though. I mean,
It's I mean obviously it's not the norm.
I'm saying I don't know if that was the norm for the Prophet, peace be upon him. Meaning he definitely has narrations where they're all the same length, but the fact that we have narrations of him doing that leads me to think that that was not the norm, that was the exception. Right? Like he will recite Al-Baqarah, Al-Imran, and An-Nisa, right? And then Ruku would be the same length.
I just imagined if someone did that, try to do that like first or got the Tarawih.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
You heard
God.
about that? Like,
That'd be like
That's
bad.
tricky.
That'd be bad news.
yeah, like it's like 6 hours long.
Okay, go ahead, Nelfer. You need to.
Okay, thanks. I remember my question after you were making me laugh.
Sorry.
About
The grandma.
Okay,
Her face coming into the camera looks like the face of Oz coming out of the smoke. It's like so dark.
Yeah, 'cause it's dark.
Okay, it's really creepy.
It's just
Oh
your
my
teeth.
god.
It's so creepy. I'm like, it's scaring me.
And it's red in the background. What is it?
She's in Jahannam.
Astaghfirullah, don't say that.
And then she got
I
really
was gonna say
close.
Temple of Satan. You just went straight to hell. Yeah.
I was gonna say Funhouse. You guys are too much, man.
So
I
three
was gonna say it
levels
looks like
of
Valentine's.
corruption.
Okay, so my
I don't
question
know.
is, what do you think? I'm on the microphone. What do you think of the analogy of when you have, you know, a husband or wife or a really good friend or your parent or your child, and you're away from them for a while, and then you miss them and you are going to see them and you like can't wait to see them.
Totally.
Does that become what your prayer is like with Allah, that you are looking forward to that next meeting, that next prayer, because
Yes.
you want to meet Allah?
I think that's a good analogy. And then add to that the fact that you're going to have extra strong focus, as opposed to something you take for granted. You know, let's say someone starts talking and then you just start texting and stuff like that while they're talking. If you have been longing for interaction, then you're going to have a lot of not excess, but a lot of attentiveness to them. I think it's a really good analogy.
I think Nelfer is going to become a Sufi one day.
That's the darkness. We could turn off all the lights so we can see how much nude was emanating.
Nilüfer, okay, just watch this. It's
She's
dark,
coming to
right?
our side.
Nilüfer,
She'll
just
do
come
it.
Look
close
at, see,
to the
it's coming
camera.
right now. She's coming.
Watch how creepy it is when she comes in. Come close to the camera, Nilüfer.
Why is it?
Oh my
Comes in
god.
like I
Whoa.
have a question.
Cheshire cat teeth.
Yeah.
Oh.
God, her nose ring is like glinting.
Oh
my gosh. Wow. Creepy.
Okay. So this is opening up this section.
We're on 166 now? Or?
It will be on 166 inshallah next time. So it's opening up this whole section, which is really going to be getting into the lawful and the prohibited. Okay? But the starting point of talking about the lawful and the prohibited is to turn to Allah with your full intellectual capacity. Right? That's the foundation. Now think about the difference. If I just teach you Islam is do this, don't do this, then that's what Islam is going to be, this rule list. Okay? If Islam is connect yourself to Allah Ta'ala as well as you can. Okay? Now how to do that, these are the rules. Meaning, what are we saying here? That those things we are told to do, we can infer that they're good for us and they bring us closer to Allah Ta'ala. The things that we're told not to do, we can infer they're harmful and they bring us away from Allah Ta'ala. I mean, that'd be the simple formula here. That things that are fard, and the effect is that it'll bring you closer to Allah Ta'ala. Things that are haram, and the effect is that they will bring you away from it. That's what they will do to your soul.
Okay, so if I can rephrase, so these two ayats are, one's Allah is instructing us to engage our aql, our intellect, reasoning, so that we look at our world with clarity, right, and connect with Allah through that, or see it as signs of Allah. And then Allah's encouraging us to, or what, it's talking about people who connect with idols and it blinds them.
Absolutely.
It blinds their heart from being able to connect, the heart, the love part of it.
Okay.
And so that, before we receive instructions, do this, do that, I mean, it's almost like, in order to sort of make it easier for us to follow that, is that kind of how we're conceptualizing that, or no?
Yeah, think back to the first two commands. Be the abd of your Rabb and turn away from everything else. And so there, the third, fourth, fifth commands were about your interaction with people. Here, it's not a command, but it's talking about your interaction with nature. But the key point being that your goal is to get closer to Allah Ta'ala. And thus the instructions are there to facilitate that. Okay? As opposed to just doing them for the sake of doing them. This is in contrast to Judaism. In Judaism, there's a line in the Talmud, so not the Torah. The Talmud is kind of like the commentary in the Talmud, where God is supposed to have said, "Deny me, but follow the law."
Wait, say it again.
Deny me, but follow the law. Meaning, if you have to choose between following me and follow the law, you follow the law. And I mean, that's how it was explained to me by Rabbi. For us, the point of the law is to get you closer to Allah Ta'ala. The point of the law is not the end in itself. It's not fulfilling all of the commands. Because if you're fulfilling all of the law without ihsan, without spirituality, then you have just a rigid way to live. Right? The point is that you have fiqh on the outside, sharia on the outside, and haqiqah on the outside. And who focuses on that? The Sufis. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, but that's the goal.
They're all mushy on the inside.
Sorry, Sufis are all mushy on the
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah,
You know who else is mushy on the inside? I'm mushy on the inside too, but I'm working on it. You know.
I feel like you're a Sufi rebel child. You're like in the Sufi family, but like pretending you're not. But
Maybe.
yeah. God, Mom.
Yeah.
I want to do Muraqabah right now.
I am always in a state of interaction.
Mashallah.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't say interaction with
Unrelated
work, but yeah.
question, but do you know of any of like the Eastern religions, like Buddhism, Confucianism, all that stuff? Any of those, like which of those have the strongest like focus on nature?
Well, I would say their focus is on things that are not man-made.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The things that are man-made are by definition not pure,
Okay.
which is different than having your focus on nature. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a subtle but big difference. Yeah.
Okay, so they focus on nature, but it's kind of at the expense of like humanity.
Meaning get away from humanity.
Okay.
Yeah. In Lao Tzu, there's this idea that the Force in Star Wars comes from. That through nature, there's this whole river that binds everything. Right. In my understanding, the key is the separation from people. That Judaism and Islam tend to elevate the value of the person. Christianity and Eastern religions do not seem to do that. Any other thoughts? Questions?
I do but going back to,
Yeah.
we'll finish this section.
I mean, that's it for today.
Okay.